Welcome to Notary Insights Live with Tekamaku and Tiger Toledo. The show will be starting shortly. Thank you for
As
your
a part-time
patience.
traveling notary with a full-time job, balancing everything can be tough, especially when you're getting calls at all hours. That's where Sabrina AI comes in. Think of Sabrina as your personal assistant who answers every call, handles appointment bookings, provides quick answers to common questions, and filters out non-urgent inquiries. Sabrina works 24/7 so you never miss a client opportunity, even when you're tied up with your full-time job. With this system, you can keep things running smoothly without the stress of managing calls yourself, giving you more time to focus on your work, clients, and everything else life throws your way.
Scan the QR code for a free demo.
Welcome to Notary Insights Live with Tekamaku and Tiger Toledo. The show will be starting shortly. Thank you for your patience. Welcome to Notary Insights Live with Tekamaku and Tiger Toledo. The show will be starting shortly. Thank you for your patience.
You can't see him, can you?
We are on a safari. We are on a safari cut. We hunting notary gurus, you heard?
Yeah, you got the lights on.
These niggas tried to run away. We
That's
on
so
their
funny.
heels, B. Hold on, I'm gonna fix my camera real quick, man.
All right.
But in the meantime, man, talk to the people.
Hey,
Intro.
yeah. Let's see this week. Put the screen here. There we go. There we go. Wait, hey, what's up, man? This is we're coming to you live from the studios. This is Notary Insights, man. Welcome, guys. I know you guys tuned in for a very special episode, and we're happy that you're here. Hey, the question that we're asking, so why speak out now? No, that's going to be the question that we're answering. If we knew about this a year ago, that the notary influencers of 2020, 2021, they all start disappearing. Why? Why is that? And because we started to see the trend a year ago, but why didn't we say anything then? Well, the truth is we did say something, but we're going to really speak out now. But, I'm going to start off with the introduction. Shout out to everybody who's watching right now. If you're watching on YouTube, if you're watching on Instagram, wherever you're coming from. And, this is how we form a globe. My name is Tekamaku, Tiger Toledo. Coming to you live from Chicago. He got the music in the background. He in the club right now. This man popping bottles in the club.
I know my camera acting real funny. I'm gonna get it cracking because I want you to see the hat I'm wearing, bro.
I saw it. I think I saw it. I think I did.
Did you see it?
I saw a little bit of it.
we hunting. It's safari time, man.
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna just have to use my laptop camera, man, for this one.
Yeah, that's
It's
all
acting real funny style.
That's all good. We're gonna do the notary trivia. We're gonna save our special main topic today, which is why are all of the notary influencers from 2020 all of a sudden? Why are all of a sudden the influencers from 2020 just all of a sudden disappearing? Why is that?
Yeah, why is that? It's 2025. All of those names that I saw pop up during COVID, they're gone now, man. They exited. Didn't send no memo. Well, a couple of them sent some memos. But for the most part, they just disappeared on people. So for those that never been to the show, welcome to the Notary Insights Live. I am Tiger Toledo, half marketing machine, half sales beast. Here to bring you some enjoyment, some entertainment, some notary knowledge, insight. Today we're going to be going. Let me give you guys the quick rundown of the show. We're going to go into the notary trivia. We're going to ask you guys a couple of questions. You can answer it in the chat. We're streaming on a couple of platforms right now. Shout out to Instagram, LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook. We're going to go into the Notary Trivia Challenge. Then after that, we're going to go into our main discussion. After the main discussion, we go into the Money Corner with Tech. And if we have some time, we may go into Pass or Trash website audit. And then we'll do our salutations. But we're going to give a couple of shout outs. Don't be scared to be on this platform and say what's up. We're all family here. It's all love. So, welcome to the show, man.
Adjust my camera real quick.
Yeah, this is gonna be fun, bro.
Yeah, it's about time. This is something that I've thought about for several years. I thought about this, and I've talked about this, but it's nothing to organize it and bring it in an official, addressing, something to address it in this way. This is the first time that we've ever done it like this. But yeah, man, this is something we've discussed off camera unofficially, for several years.
You know what, Tech? Let's go right into it, bro. Let's go right into it, and then we'll do the notary trivia after our main discussion, bro.
Sure.
So let's switch stages for a second. I hear baby Kimber in the background. What up?
Yeah, man. Shout out to Kimber.
Indeed.
Eating good in the neighborhood.
All right, Tech, set it off, bro. So, well, let me set it off with a question to you first. Around 2020, right? I believe that's when COVID kicked in. We did see a huge emergence of coaches around that time. I'm talking about there was Clubhouse going on. Eventbrite had all kind of master classes going on. People were live, and I get it. People went from their office job and they had to work from home. So it gave notaries an opportunity to attack this industry in a way they've never thought of doing it. But then fast forward 2025, heck, I don't know. I'm not really in the notary circuit like that. But when did you start seeing these notary coaches start to disappear?
Right about the time when, quote unquote, interest rates started to return to normal. Or really? Interest rates started to stabilize again. Or interest rates went up, however you want to call it. So that was about the time. Then people started to, quote unquote, pivot. And the word pivot can mean a lot of different things. It can mean that you leave the industry entirely. It can mean that you go do what you say, Tiger, all the time, which is most notaries want to be real estate agents. And they left, and then they started, or they used notary as a stepping stone, and then they just bounced.
Well, I'll say loan signing agents want to be real estate somehow. Not all notary, just the loan signing cats. They have exhibited high interest in understanding real estate and being in the real estate, and as you've seen, a lot of them did shift over to real estate too.
A lot of them bounced to real estate, started selling homes, or got their real estate license, and then started to. But what's the truth though? What's the reality? Most people have pointed to the interest rates climbing back up because, as we all know, they dipped to historic lows. Like, the interest rates may never be that low again, ever. 2%, 2.9%, 3.125%. They may never be that low. That just like the pandemic, that might be one of those once in a lifetime occurrences. So once that destabilized and once they went back up to what interest rates typically float around a 6% interest rate for a mortgage loan is really good, but that's reasonable. Would you agree? And 8%, 7%, like, somebody who has terrific credit, good payment history, good income, they can get a mortgage loan for somewhere in that 6 to 7, 8% range. And that would be somewhat reasonable. If you get lower than that, 4%, 5%, then that's just a bonus cherry on top. But once that started to go back up, people were dipping out left and right. All of a sudden, refis stopped. Refinance wave stopped. Buying and selling slowed. Now, all of a sudden, you see the emergence of wedding officiants. Now you see the emergence of permit running. You see the emergence of apostle facilitators. Keep in mind, this stuff was always there. It never it was never at the forefront, but that stuff was always there. Now you see field inspections. Now you see all these other ancillary pseudo adjacent notary jobs that are not really notary, is it? That's not the reason why you got into the notary industry, was to be a field inspector or to work for another company. You started in this industry you got in this industry to have a business, didn't you? And then you linked up with somebody who was probably really flashy. They're probably really attractive. Who knows why? Maybe they displayed some level of knowledge. But here's the one thing, though. Here's the one thing that I noticed that was across the board, and this is why I rock with Andre Hatchett real heavy. And obviously, I learned about you. We met through Andre Hatchett. The reason I rock with Andre Hatchett, which is something that, because he said he could say something that a lot of the people who proclaim to be notary influencers and notary gurus and experts, they couldn't say. Andre Hatchett, and that's because he's been around for so long. He's been around for so many years. All the other people, here's the one thing I always notice. They can't tell you where they got their information from. Bro, where'd you learn all this stuff from? What qualifies you to be the person I should listen to? How do I verify what you're telling me is true? Just because it was, man, you could get a commission and you could find a signing service to send you out on orders all day long. That is what qualifies you as becoming a mentor. You've been doing it for 3 months and a half, and now all of a sudden, stop it, man. So the one thing that when all that went away, when it was no longer easy, when you can no longer put on the camera and then show yourself driving all around town, driving 30, 45 minutes away 3 times a day, sitting in the bank, sitting in the office at some title company, when you can no longer do that, you dipped out. That's when I noticed it. So something was happening really a lot, like around a year and a half, 2 years ago. That's about the time the interest rates really started to climb. But now Now people poof. And here's a real thing, you know, I'm really like it kind of really fires me up, and it bothers me that all the people, it's the people who were left behind that really upsets me, that really gets me sticking up and standing up for them. It's the people who that they were leading, they were selling courses to, selling memberships to, selling dreams. Oh, just get in this, just buy my Canva course, buy my business card course, just sign up for sign up for my 100 list of signing services. Just download my script template that you can talk to the title agents with. Just get this, and and come to my training when I'll talk to you about what I say to title agents. What do I email them with? Come to my event where I'll tell you everything you need to know about loan signing and what to say and how do you go through a loan document. That's what really, and they left those people high and dry. And now all of a sudden they can't pay their bills. Now all of a sudden they're broke because they were following somebody else's advice. So there's a lesson here. You know, we're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about why you need to be your own person. Why you something that you always say, I learned from you. When everybody else is doing something, you go the other way. The herd, the sheep, the crowd, they're going one way, you go the other way. That's the sign you should be looking for. And why going that route has really left a lot of people upset, man. A lot of people invested a ton of money. They bought printers, they bought scanners, they invested paper, they invested in new cars, they got decals all over their cars. They did all those things, and now and for what? Now all of a sudden they can't put food on their plate. They have to go back to their jobs. So that's the reason why I get real hot about it, and you know, it's something that I don't take lightly.
Now, although I wasn't on a lot of the notary circuits like the Clubhouse and stuff like that, I did see a lot of notaries pop up. But see, for me, I knew just off of human nature, a lot of them were going to fall off. It just like they can't stick with it. That's just human beings, right? They'll start a project. A lot of people will start a project and they will hit the ball clean out the park, Tech. I mean, home run, back to back. And then they fizz out. So I knew in this game, I said, this game is about longevity. This game is about who can be the most consistent. As you can see, we're both still here. We'll still, heck, we got graphics, we got shows, we got software. It's who can stand the test of time, bro. And it's going to continue to happen. You'll probably see a new emergence of notary gurus and moguls and all of that. And they're going to be flossing and they'll be buying their G-Wagon off of business credit and shit. They ain't got no real cash flow coming into their business. And they flossing and they're doing their thing. And then they disappear and be like, oh, I'm an esthetician now. You know? And they do a complete career change on you, and you're left with that bag. You're like, well, the market is changing. What do you say? Oh, I'm sorry, I'm not in that. I'm not in that world anymore, Olivia. I can't help you.
That's the question. What were they really doing? It's like what? All of a sudden, you were in that world, and then you were getting the G-Wagon, business credit, showing people how to sign up for LLCs. You were telling people how important it is to do all those things. You were telling people how to fill out a loan document. But what were you doing? What was it that you was doing?
Tech, and I think God is just great, right? God gave me the opportunity. Like the notary business is the first business I knocked it clean out the park, bro. Like the ball wasn't even in the stands, Tech. I had knocked it out that motherfucker. It flew over out the stadium and shit, right? And he gave me the opportunity to create multiple streams, and I documented everything. I gave it to everybody that was willing to listen. I wrote a book. It hit bestseller. Now, if you do it once, it's luck. You do it twice, you got a formula. I did it 3 times. I created courses, and I told you guys how I did it from beginning to end. Because I learned a long time ago from these guys in New Jersey. It's a rap group called Against the Grain, right? And they said, it's what you do when you're at the top. How many people do you help when you're at the top? When you're at the top of the game and everything is going well, do you share your knowledge? Do you share insights that help other people grow and become better? Or do you just keep it to yourself and you just keep flossing in front of people's face? I'm not saying one is right or wrong, but it's what you do when you're on top. Because everything goes down. Your height, the height of your popularity will eventually go down. Yeah. But then when it does go down, what are people saying about you when they run into you at the Starbucks or at the Target or, at an event or at a convention? Do they offer to buy you a coffee? Do they offer to buy you a drink? They be like, yo, you help me out with this. Yo, I use this. Like what can they say about you?
And that's the thing. A lot of people, you see them and it's just them.
Yeah.
It'd be just them. It'd be them in their house,
Facts,
them in their car, and it's just them. You know what I'm saying?
We 10 toes down in this bitch. Don't believe me? Go watch the Notary War Room. The Notary War Room. You can see the proof is in the pudding. We connected with people all over the United States. Shout out to Kim Yanni, Dawn, Dominique, Renee, all of these great people that were part of the show. Cam, all of these people, man. Mark Saez, all of these people we brought to the front because we believe that we're not the gatekeeper of this information. This information is to be spread out from people that have skin in the game, not people that were theorizing, but people that were actually doing the damn thing. Now, some of them aren't around anymore. They've moved on to bigger, greater things. But again, it's the test of time. Who's going to last? Who's going to be here for the long run? I love this game too much, bro. I will do the notary thing because it's just too much fun. Even if I don't, I said this years ago. I will go to a notary appointment in my Rolls Royce.
Yeah.
I will drive to a notary appointment in a Rolls Royce one day. That's a goal. Not to stunt on my people, just to show how committed I am to this game. I could gracefully bow out of the notary game if I wanted to, but I choose not to because it's too much fun. The people in the notary world are just awesome people. If you could share great knowledge with them and then you could stand by them and you give them the support, Tech is great with that. Tech is great with building the communities, offering support. He's way better than that than I am. He's still in the game. He don't have to. Tech, could you leave the notary game right now if you wanted to?
Leave it? Yeah, but I wouldn't want to though. It's
exactly
here's the thing. there's people right now wondering, where is my $17,000 a month? Where's my $20,000 a month? Where's my $100,000 a year? Where's my six-figure notary business? I did everything you said. I got the printer, I got the scanner, I got the business cards, I signed up for all the signing services, I got the NNA training, I got your loan signing course training. I did all of that work. Where is my $10,000 a month? And all that's left is like, oh well, I didn't do the work. Well, you got to put yourself out there more. Like, why can you tell the people why just put yourself out there more is not a real strategy? And I'll tell you what, I'll give my response. Why is, because I hear the question is, I did everything. I did all this stuff. I did the whole checklist. I did everything. Why am I still not getting phone calls? Why are companies still not hiring me? Why are they still giving me like $40 to drive 45 minutes? And then the answer is always, oh, you just gotta put yourself out there more. I'm gonna teach you guys how to do this. Just, I'm gonna teach you how to put yourself out there more. Like, why is that not a real strategy? Just put yourself out more.
I could break it down like, it's good to get yourself out there, but unless they give you a formula once you get outside, that's where you separate it, right? I would always suggest, get out there and, talk to a couple of people and, talk to a couple of businesses. It just gets you past being afraid to talk to people. It gets you in front of people face, because even when you're doing a notarization yourself, you have to talk to people. So if you've been in a cubicle or you've been in an isolated area for most of your life in your job, when you start getting around different people that have different personalities and stuff like that, you want to get your feet wet somehow. You want to start talking to some people. But as a marketing standpoint, not the best idea, not the best road to go. Sales, it can help you with your sales because you learn how to communicate with different personalities and stuff like that. But as far as for marketing, no, I wouldn't suggest it. Not at that level, because it's too slow. It's too slow of a growth. What do you say to that?
Yeah, just first of all, those are all good, and I agree 100% with those. Just put yourself out there is not a real strategy. Number one, it's hella vague. Number one, it's so non-specific. Whenever somebody says just put yourself out there, to me, the first thing that tells me is that this person has no idea what they're talking about. That statement is so broad.
You've heard people say that?
Just put yourself out there? Hell yeah. All the time. You just got to get out there more often. You just got to go knock on more doors. You just got to go send more emails.
Oh, no.
You just got to go sign up for more signing services. You got to sign up for 100, 1,000 more signing services. You're not out there enough. You got to go send more solicitation emails. Go, put your name on more databases. Then you'll start getting more calls. Well, here's the facts. Most people only use 2 signing services. Most people only work with 3 at the most. If you're listening to this right now in the chat, how many signing services have contacted you? And let's just say on a regular basis, and on a regular basis, let's define that. Let's just say they've contacted you at least twice in 1 week. Is that reasonable? Not some one-off, but they've contacted you at least twice. How many signing services have contacted you for work on a regular basis, and by regular basis, 2 times a week? Come on now. Most people only work with 2 signing services, maybe 3, maybe 3. So why would I sign up for 100 signing services? 1,000 for what?
Now, I will say this, Tech. It is a numbers game at that point. If somebody tells you to sign up to 100, 200, 300, now you're playing the numbers game. It is like a crapshoot, but there are numbers that will back that. Let's say if I roll this dice 100 times, the odds of me getting snake eyes is, and then you have your probability there. So a person reaching out to 100 signing services, although, again, it's a crapshoot because you can't really predict who's going to call you, when they're going to call you, and why they're going to call you. There is a numbers game where you may get 2% or 3% of that. And compared to nothing, doing nothing, I would suggest that. But we're not comparing it to nothing. We're comparing it to a higher, a higher fruit, if you will. A lot of people do compare their stuff to the low-hanging fruit, and I don't suggest that.
There's an inherent problem with that. If you only have that option, go take that option. Here's the problem with that. And please, again, if that's something that you do, let us know. If you're watching this live, watching on replay, let us know in the comment. There's people, how many other people are getting, so we got a room full, we have a stadium, 60,000 notaries in there, and we all sign up for the same 100 signing services. That means for us, because we're all in the same location, that means that one single order goes out is going to all 60,000 of us. The likelihood of us getting that, or you being selected for that, it's low.
Snapdog does that though.
Yeah, Snapdog does that, and what we're seeing now is that as a viable way to operate, not only is that detrimental, it's dangerous for your business, because now you subject yourself to so many different uncontrollable variables.
That is true.
Again, the question is, all the people who were peddling that advice and telling you to do that, where are they? Why? If they were following that advice and it worked so well, where are they now? Why have they bounced? Why have they disappeared? Put yourself out there. Go sign up for more signing services. Awful advice.
What would be better advice, Tech?
That's terrible advice. I would never tell somebody to do that. I would tell you, think of it this way. What would you do if you needed a notary? How would you behave? What actions would you take? The customer is going to do exactly what you say. So you're probably going to go to Google. You're probably going to go to a search engine or website. You're probably going to go to a friend, maybe go to your bank. Think of the way in which a customer would behave and how they would act. And that's what I would do. So first thing that I would do, number one, for a local service business, for a service that you offer in a local region, you need to be on Google Maps. You need to be where people are searching for notaries. And the only place people search for notaries is online, Google. And then you got Bing, which is way below there, but it's still there. Then you got these other ones like Yelp, you got these other ones like Nextdoor. Those don't really count. If you got some bread to put up and to roll the dice and be on those platforms, then it won't hurt. It'll only hurt your pocket, but it won't hurt to be there. But the best, number one, non-objective resource is Google Maps. Google Ads be placed on Google Maps. It's unequivocal that when somebody searches for you, they're looking on Google. The light in my refrigerator just went out. The light bulb, right? I need to figure out, well, what size is it? The model number of the refrigerator, the brand name. Where did I go? I went to Google. Then guess what pops up? An ad for Home Depot, Ace Hardware, other smaller shops in the area. Here's where you can go buy it. You can buy it right now. You can have curbside delivery, or we can do pickup, whatever you want to do in store. When people are looking for notary, that's the behavior that they're following. So some people rejected the opportunity to learn Google Ads. I didn't, and that's a message that I put out there. Google Ads is going to be your foundation. It's got to be. You can rely on others. If you want to pivot, listen. Here's the thing. This is such a highly individualized industry. But the way you do it is not the way I do it, and the person next to her. Everybody does it differently. Your availability is not my availability. It's all different. So you might get an order for $60, 35 minutes away, and you might be available to do it, but you may not, but because of some other circumstance, you may not take that. So it may fall to the next person. That's just how it runs. If you don't accept that, somebody else will take it. It's always going to be somebody down the line. And if you put your name out there enough, then the thinking is that, all right, well, I will get it. Somebody somewhere is not going to be able to take it, and then it's going to fall into my lap. Yeah, that's wishful thinking. That's shooting for the stars and hoping you hit the moon. That strategy is not a good strategy. Not to run a business. You need something that's predictable, something that's going to generate leads, something that's going to capture leads, something that's going to secure the jobs. That's how businesses operate. They don't leave it up to chance. And putting your name on signing services, making it all about how many people I can sign up for, how many people I can contact with, that's a terrible way to go about it. And we're seeing it right now. Why there's so many of those 2020 influencers who suggested you do that? Where are they? How come what happened to them? How come they're not talking about that now? How come that strategy is not out there anymore?
What do you think happened to them?
Listen, here's the truth. They've never had a business to begin with. Their business was to put their names on a signing service database, on a listing, on some type of directory, and then wait. Because they were hot in their market, and because the refinance wave was at an all-time high, interest rates was at an all-time low, it was just work everywhere. It was, man, bro, you can shoot your shot, and then you can make buckets and baskets and be a rock star and look as if you were super busy all the time. What happened to them is that strategy, which again was never a business. That's not a business to be third person in line for someone else's client. Those signers, those families, those are not your clients. Those are clients of the title company. That's their clients, the real estate agent clients.
Yep.
Them ain't your clients. I know that there's 2020 notary influencers and gurus that said that those are your clients, but we're finding out those were never your clients. Those are title company clients. You work for the title company. Who pays you? The title company. Who pays you? SnapDocs or whoever third-party signing service. They pay you. You work for them. So what happened to them? What happened to them is they never had a business to begin with. They never had an operation to begin with. Their operation involved signing up for multiple signing services, and then whenever that dried up or whenever they couldn't, whenever a title company decided not to hire them or because they were too slow to respond to an alert, a notification, because they were either at another signing service, which speaks to another problem. Talk about why we have Sabrina AI. That speaks to another problem. You were driving. You couldn't even respond to the notification. So you're in the business of giving away money. That's what. You're in a business of losing clients. You were at Panera Bread doing the notary closing, and because your phone rang and somebody needed a power of attorney at the hospital, you couldn't answer it. So you lost the client. You're in the business of losing money. And also, by the way, you don't even regard power of attorney as being a valuable document. You think power of attorneys are worth $10. So it's just general notary work. It's just general notary work. It's just an affidavit. It's just $10. They can go to UPS store. You don't even hold it in a high regard. So therefore, why would you place any level of importance on a power of attorney? Why would you place any level of importance on a theft affidavit? Why would you place any importance on a name change, on a prenuptial agreement? It's just general notary. Just general notary. It's not worth anything. No, you're following somebody who told you that general notary is only worth $1. $1. $1. By you following somebody else's advice, not following your own path, not walking in your own steps, now this person has you in debt. Now you're struggling. Now you can't pay your bills. Now you're out of business. Now you have to sell your printer. Now you're doing a flash sale. Or now you're at the mercy of some other notary influencer who also doesn't know what they're talking about, and they're trying to sell you on the next product. Meanwhile, they can't verify if they, in fact, are actually still active as notaries and still doing the business. They can't show themselves actually closing a real client on the phone. You never heard them take a real life phone call. You never saw them. Man, if I'm supposed to go into a title company and go into a office and then send them goodie bags, why haven't I not seen a video of you doing that and it resulting in an actual appointment? If it works so well, then you should have several examples of, if it was that good, Tiger, why haven't I seen you walk into a title company with a bag full of crackers, a bag full of Cheez-Its and fig bars and mango flavored scones, hand that to a title company, donuts, and them turn around and make you a preferred notary and give you appointments for the rest of the month? If that works so well, where's the video of you doing that? On the other hand, you might say, and yeah, I'm being a little funny here, and actually I'm trolling a little bit. I will say that. I'll be honest, this is trolling to some degree, because for the people who've been putting in work, for the people who don't have 100,000 followers, who don't have 80,000 followers, who don't have a ton of views, for the people who have done it slow and steady, who've been here throughout the long run, and the people who've not been given that attention, they're the ones who are still here, because they actually did the boring stuff, the hard stuff, in the trenches, learning sales copy, like Tiger says, putting together an email list, like Tiger says, learning how to persuade, learning how to set up a system so that when phone calls do come in, I don't give it away because I'm driving.
I got a question, Tech, because you cooking, bro. You cooking. Let me ask you this. Why are you so passionate about this particular thing? Because I can feel the passion coming through the microphone, bro. Why do you give a fuck?
I've seen so many people, man, why? The people who've come through this industry are genuinely good people. They're professionals. Like you say, they probably even have multiple degrees. And here they are being shoved in front of this influencer, thanks to the algorithm. They've been shown some flash in the pan way to get rich quick, and that's not true. There's no such thing as a get rich quick scheme. It always crash and burns. Easy come, easy go. And now all of a sudden, they're they have to return to a life that they never wanted or that they were trying to escape. I mean, it goes deep. It really does, because at the end of the day, somebody who shows you how to change your life or said that this is how you would change your life, and all of a sudden they disappeared. They left you hanging. They don't respond to phone calls. No sign of them. Bro, what type of responsibility is that?
That's a high possibility, though, bro. I remember I used to follow this guy named Kevin Trudeau, and he used to have all of these great programs and stuff. Next thing I know, this nigga gets locked up. You know what I mean? He's on a run and shit. There was a manhunt for him. There's quite a few rappers that I used to look up to, not as an idol, but like I like the message that they were putting in, and next thing you know, they got 25 to life and shit. You know, like I don't know. I see where your passion is coming from, but at the end of the day, Tech, a lot of these notaries chose who they wanted to, who chose who their instructor was going to be. Now, I will say this. I will take responsibility that my marketing wasn't strong enough to help capture them before they walked into the snake pit. That was my fault. That you wind up rocking with this dude instead of, the real kahuna. Right? I'll even also say, I'll even thank those gurus and moguls that bowed out or tapped out and been like, this ain't for me no more. You know why? Because they're all coming to us now. They're going to look for a new home. That's just a fact. The dog doesn't want to be stray. It wants a home. So they're going to look for a new home, a new foundation, a new, community to belong to. And they're more than welcome to come here.
Bro, I only hope. I hope they do. I hope they not.
And if they don't, fuck them. I mean, like, more power to them. I won't say fuck them. I say more power to you. Right. Hopefully you find somebody else that you gel with. I know I don't gel with everybody. I don't want to gel with everybody. Yeah. But find somebody that speaks the way you want them to speak, and brushes, pats you on the back, say it's gonna be okay, and shit like that. If that's what you're looking for, find that person that you gravitate toward. Everybody, see, I also believe this, Tech. Everybody has a signature voice, right? So somebody can listen to us and they can say, all right, I really like these guys' message. But then if there was a woman saying the same exact thing that we're saying, they'll gravitate more towards the female, person. I know a lot of people like that. They may gravitate towards the nationality of that person, right? They may say, "Hey, look, I want to get the information from somebody that looks like me, sounds like me, and get the message from them." I know I was like that when I saw it, and I found Andre Hatchett. He was a Black brother entrepreneur. He was rolling out his own business. He was recommended by another, highly esteemed Black person by the name of Dr. Boyce Watkins that I rock with heavy. And I was like, all right, I'm gonna check him out. So the signature voice is huge, bro. And and for those that are thinking about creating content, or maybe you're thinking about becoming a new notary coach and guru or whatever, I want you to understand that the life trials and tribulations you've been through, nobody can take that away from you. That is going to resonate with certain people in this world, and there's nothing nobody could do about it. I can't take that away from you. Tech can't take it away from you. That is yours. And then you're going to find your tribe. Just do right by that tribe because they're trusting you. They're leaning on you for leadership. Just don't do them wrong.
Yeah, do right by the tribe. No, that's a great point because what you're seeing now, all those videos, all those examples and exposés, they were posted 2 years ago, 3 years ago, and YouTube is not pushing those channels anymore. People are thumbing them down. YouTube's algorithm is not. If you put out a video today, right now, saying that you need to put your name on 1,000 different sign services, you're going to get thumbs down, and YouTube is not going to push your content.
I didn't know that.
Telling people to go set up a mobile office so that they can invest thousands of dollars and then not be able to get a client. People are thumbing down those videos now. And now, because people are upset, people are mad. People know that they fell for the okie doke, and that's what it was. Maybe not at the time, but we realized that as people mislabeling that stuff as business advice, and it really wasn't business. It wasn't teaching you how to get a client. It's a LA phone number, but I can take a lot. See, I take phone calls live. How about this? It's a great day at Oakland Notary. Amazon, it's not Amazon. They said potential fraud, so I think that was a real person anyway. Robocall. But anyway, live, man. We live right now. I'll take a phone call. Nothing to hide, nothing to front on. I'm not telling you to go get no printer because we know at the very core, what is it that you need to get a notary? Tiger, you don't even need a notary commission to run a notary business. How many people are telling you to go get an LLC, go get a business license, go get your business structure before you can run a notary business? You don't even need a notary commission to run a business. You were on stage and they asked you how to set up a notary network and then all this complicated stuff. And now you say, bro, you don't need none of that. So if somebody come out today talking about all that stuff, they're getting thumbs down and it's not being recommended. Because it's turning out that wasn't the real case. It's actually a lot simpler. It's actually a lot easier, which is a conundrum. It's like, what? You mean to say that I didn't have to do none of that stuff? Not necessarily.
Yeah, coaching so many notaries in the past, I realized there was always this one thing that they would always put on the back burner. Every time, Tech. I mean, every single time. It didn't matter if I coached a male, female, white, black, Mexican. It did not matter, bro. They all did the same thing. And you know what that one thing was?
What's that?
They pushed sales as if it was the last thing they needed to do. They pushed sales all the way to the back of the line as if getting clients was not necessary. I've seen notaries go out there and spend money to get a logo, spend money to get brochures, spend money for printers, business cards, websites, phones, voicemail, Calendly, you name it. They spend all of this money, get incorporated, EIN number, LLC, this and that. And the very thing that they needed to do to see if their business was viable was to just get one client. Can you get one? Just one.
You see?
Just one, dude. Sell one client. And then they'll come to me with this big package, this big suitcase of, I've done all of this. How much money is your company making this month then? Oh, we haven't made any money yet. It's that And that's why I took it upon myself to teach the sales and marketing, and that's it. Well, even with the AI stuff that I teach the AI stuff to enhance your sales and marketing abilities in this. But
thank God for you, man. Thank God for you, bro.
You can't go around that. I'll give you an example. My nephew wants to start his landscaping business, right? He got incorporated, got the logo done, got the LLC, get the business card, even looking at government contracts, looking at lawnmowers and the shapers and all of that other crazy shit. I said, bro, have you even looked into getting one client? Just one. The concept of customer funded, I'm realizing that it is very foreign to people.
It is.
It's hard to understand that type of. So I said, look, this is what I told him, Tech. He said, how am I supposed to get customers if I don't have the lawnmower with the trailer in the background to carry my lawnmowers and all of this stuff? I said,
legitimate question, right?
Legitimate, right? So I said, you ever thought about leveraging somebody else's landscape company?
There you go, people. There you go, people.
I can't expect people to think on that level, though, Tech. That's out of the box, B. I gotta say, that's out of the box. That's just not dropping. It's not dropping for everybody like that. But I said, why don't you connect with a landscape company that already have all of this stuff, and you become a third-party vendor with them? You say, hey, look, I'm gonna get my own customers. I'm gonna charge them my own fees. If I bring you X amount of customers, I want you guys to give me a discounted rate. It made sense to him. But that type of work, to him, it was like going to the dentist or something. It's going to be tough. When he was just putting too much emphasis. He was complicating it way more than he should. He like, go up to the landscape company and then tell them, let me speak to your boss. A lot of the times, the ones that are cutting it, especially if it's a pretty big company, the boss is not cutting grass. He's looking for ways of getting more contracts then, right? So then I told him, I said, now this is what you could start doing differently. He's like, how do I differentiate myself from other landscape companies? I said, there's different ways of cutting grass with different patterns, right? You can give somebody that crisscross diamond pattern in their grass. Take a couple of pictures of that. Present that to somebody. These are the different styles that we could cut your lawn. And once you start closing clients, you go back to the boss, say, hey, look, not your boss, but go back to the landscaping boss and say, hey, look, I got 3 contracts ready to go. You take your profit. They get paid. Lawn care gets taken care of. Everyone is happy. I'm always looking for the win-win-win situation in everything. I don't believe in leaving somebody high and dry. But he could have done it. But guess what happened instead, Tech?
What happened?
Money got depleted.
All those different examples. After you bought all that equipment, set up the LLC, and then you gave him that advice. Please, what? I'm dying to know what happened.
His money got depleted. Couldn't afford to get none of that stuff no more because he had overextended himself and he didn't even get to the part where he would buy the lawnmower at that point. Done. So, now here's what people don't see. It affected his mood now. It made him feel like a failure. It put him in a depression because he was like, I thought I was on to something. I thought if I did this and I did this and I did this, it would work. Now I'm broke. I got all this paperwork and I have no clients, but yet he could still go back to the plan that I gave him originally.
Right.
But now he has to dig himself out of that mental dirt road that he's in.
No pun intended. Whose advice did he follow? A business owner or some type of influencer?
You said who?
Whose advice did he follow to follow
Some
that?
street nigga.
Some influencer.
Street
Somebody influenced him to do it. Not a real
Street
business owner.
niggas that told him that government contracts was a lick.
Quick come up.
That's it. That's exactly what it was. He was approaching this business world as the street world, as a come up, as a lick, not looking at stability and sustainability. He was looking at it as this. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna look good on paper, and then I'm gonna go get this government contract. They're gonna give me like 25 racks. I'm gonna try to get this work done for them, but I'm gonna have that 25 racks. I was like, I don't know who's giving you this information, but I don't think that's how it worked, bro. Yes, it is. My niggas is doing that now. Okay. That's why I don't give information for free like that. Like private coaching tech, which I don't do anymore. I don't do it anymore, man. I did it for him because he was my nephew. Huh?
You don't give the information anymore. You don't do private coaching because is it because people are looking for those type of quick turnarounds and they don't want to do the work? Like they don't want to do the slow, deliberate, boring. Like Andre always says, success is boring. It's long and boring. Like they don't want to do. They say, Tiger, give me the answers.
And I'll give him the answer though, Tech. I'll give him the answer on this show. But see, I'm comfortable with them not doing shit with the information from this show. It's when I'm talking to you one-on-one and you're telling me your concerns, your challenges, and now I'm using brain power and bandwidth to solve these problems and navigate through your problems, and you do nothing with it. No, I got to get paid for that.
Bro, you talked about the idea. You talked about a concept that people may not. Although you just did a masterclass on the concept, but you named it first. You called it customer funded operation.
Mm-hmm.
You just outlined it, albeit in a different industry, but that could apply to the notary industry, can it not?
I did it. That's how I came up with the concept. I did it. I literally did it. My entire notary business was customer funded, bro. I didn't pay for my business card.
That concept was foreign to me when I first read The Rise of Smart Notary. Like people might be kind of aware of it, but when you broke it down in The Rise of Smart Notary, that whole idea of being customer funded made perfect sense.
It's because what we're taught, Tech, is to do all of this busy work before we go, because we have to realize school never teaches sales. You guys could look it up on the Harvard Review. There's only 3% of universities that actually teach sales. The very thing that keeps businesses afloat. There's no business that exists today without sales.
3%.
Marketing is the concept that attracts the clients. Sales is the process that closes the clients and gets the money.
What's advertising?
They never taught you how to get the money.
So you said sales, you said marketing. What's advertising?
Advertising is a form of marketing where you are putting money to attract more clients, but you still have there still has to be some type of sales component in there, whether you're talking to them or it's automated.
Okay, so marketing and advertising are similar, but they're not the same, and it's definitely not sales.
Yeah, sales and advertising is part of marketing. Marketing is just way too big to just, you know what I'm saying? It's just way too. It has way too many components. It's like the octopus with 50 tentacles. So you have marketing could be visuals. It could be presentations. There's so much that can go into marketing. Sales is more direct. And then advertising would be more of like, I'm specifically targeting this client and attracting this client, these amount of clients to come to me.
Yeah. And then this ain't taught in school. I have two degrees.
Advertising is taught. Advertising is taught in school.
Okay.
Marketing is taught in school. Sales is not taught in school because that has to do with psychology. And if you become very well versed in sales, guess what? Your boss becomes your bitch.
Wow.
So now, I'm going to talk to you about a raise, Tech. I was taught about sales at NYU, New York University. I'm going to talk to you about a raise. I'm about to take your job. And then just think about that, bro. The only leverage your manager has over you is your security in that job. So he leveraged the shit out of it. But what if you could get inside your boss's mind? Man, I see you work a lot of hours, John. I can take up some of those hours. Heck, I'm a single guy. I got a studio apartment. I don't really have much. But if I do that, is there a way you can find a way for me to get compensated for those extra hours? Possibly a raise. You could spend more time with your wife, and you've noticed that his wife comes into the office angry and disgruntled because he missed an extra, dinner that he was supposed to have with the family. You're peeping all of that. That's what sales is, bro. It's a process where you size your competition up or your opponent up, and then you strike with precision. Sales and negotiating go together. Those two are married to each other. So yeah, Google it, ChatGPT, and ask why isn't sales taught in school?
Good question. And I shared the story last year about just in the highly unlikely possibility that you watching this right now and you don't believe what Tiger just said. I'm going to speak to the people just in case you're one of those people. You don't believe what he just said. I used that exact same scenario last year with my own life, with my own supervisor, my own boss wanted me to do some type of task, and I completely flipped the whole scenario and never did it. Nothing happened. And realized or revealed that this was just some type of power move. Guy never knew. And I came back and I told Tiger exactly what happened. I'm like, yeah, this guy wants me to go out and for optics. That was the word he used, for optics. Can you please do this? I said no. I said no without saying no, and nothing happened. I shared that story with my wife. She was like, well, we better not tell that story online, And I was like, I'll do it, and I'll do it, But just for those people who say, oh, that'll never happen, you'll never be able to talk to your boss like that. Shit. You become the neutralizer. It is a superpower. And we talked about this the other day, you're not using this for me. We talk about sales and talk about why this is a skill that you were never taught. How come you're 40 years old and you've never learned this skill? And now you find yourself trying to start a business, but you are skipping the very thing that will lead to your success, which is sales. Not the printer, not the lawnmower, not the vehicle, not the flashy YouTube camera. None of that's going to actually translate to actual income or sustainability, as you call it. It's the ability to sell. But how come your notary influencer never discussed that with you? They probably never. Tiger, you're the only person who talks about that.
Check this out, bro. So I pulled it up on ChatGPT, right? I said, why isn't sales taught in schools? And it was like, the $1 million question. It says, why? Because the system wasn't built for closers. It was built for compliance. Comply. The industrial age blueprint is still running the curriculum.
Lay down.
Exactly, bro. You either get down or lay down. They want you to lay down from the get-go. It says schools were designed during the Industrial Revolution to pump up obedient factory workers. The formula was simple. You were taught to show up, shut up, follow instructions, take orders, not give them. I don't know what that meant. Not give them.
Not give orders. Take orders, don't give orders.
Yeah, not give them. Exactly. So it says sales is a dangerous formula. This is ChatGPT now. It teaches you to ask why. It teaches you to challenge assumptions. It teaches you to value creation beats job applications. That's rebellion. So that is why school does not teach sales. You will challenge the status quo. It doesn't make sense to you. It's like, well, I can't do that. Why can't you do that? Because I just can't. Why can't you do it? You're going to you will not stand for bullshit because one, you know that everything is negotiable. Two, you also know that you don't get paid what you're worth. You get paid what you negotiate. And if you're going to get into any type of negotiating system, you're going to have to learn some type of sales. You're bringing too much rebellion. And then guess what happens when you do get the job? And you're around other coworkers. These motherfuckers are going to want to revolt like Handmaid's Tales, bro. They're going to think they're June Osborne in this joint, and they want to rebel. Because you're no longer obedient. You have created a tribe. You have created a revolution within their organization, and they can't have that.
Yeah, you're a shock to the system. You're different. You're not like them. You are that shining light in a sea full of dull ass light bulbs, and everybody's doing the same thing. And then here comes you. Something's different about him. Something's different about her.
That alone would want me to learn sales. After putting that in ChatGPT, if I wasn't in sales now, most of my life, that response alone would want me to learn sales. You're like, okay. They wanted a soldier. They didn't want a commander. That's why in most professions, sales is the highest paid profession in those companies. You could be in sales and make more than a general manager.
Uncapped.
That's why when a lot of people are on salary, you're on commission. They tell you early on, you write your own checks. How could you not like that?
Yeah, so it's funny how we come full circle. I know we're already past the 1 hour mark. Mm-hmm. It's funny how we spent this entire time talking about this subject, and I know that this is on people's minds. I think at the end of the day, what ultimately led to all these 2020 influencers all of a sudden just vanishing, just disappearing, I think the pool in which these sharks, these mentors, these educators, these people who were instructors, influencers, they all start feeding from the same pool, the same pond. All these giant got big, got large, and now all of a sudden, no more food to feed from. People got fed up. People got upset. People were just frustrated, and they had enough. Why don't I have the packed, full-out schedule every week? I'm listening to everything you said. How come my table in my bank account is empty? How come I'm not making $17,000 a month? I did everything you told me to do. Now all I'm supposed to do is wait. You keep saying that interest rates are going to get better. Interest rates are going to get better. Now we're on the verge of another war. And I've been waiting this whole time. And sign services are still offering me $17 appointments. At this point, I'm losing money now. The pool got too small. All these sharks, we talk about the blue ocean theory, we talk about the blue ocean principle. Everybody is swimming in the same pool and they're feeding on the same guppies. And the guppies, they got upset, man. They're like, no, we're not standing for this no more, man. Thumbs down. Your video, thumbs down. Your program, thumbs down. I want a refund. You telling me to go out and put my name on these sign services and telling me to go pivot to do some other type of ancillary adjacent job that's not even notary. Now I got to go buy more equipment for fingerprinting. I didn't even want to do that. I wanted to do notary. And then the biggest thing of them all, which is the whole general notary aspect, right? I always had a problem with that. I take it personal at this point, but I don't, but I do. General notary, here's the hype. So let me give you guys something to go off of. Here's how to spot one of these people, man, to know that somebody's lying. Here's what you do. First thing, look at, if they haven't posted a video in over 12 months, that's a red flag. The last time you heard from Buddy was 4 years ago. If a video pops up on your timeline and it was posted 3 years ago about the notary industry or 12 months ago, that's a red flag.
Oh, hell no.
You go to their profile and they haven't posted a video in over 12 months, just pull the plug. If they mention anything about general notary work or GNW or something general, pull the plug, stab them, and then shoot them, and then run. You should cut them first and then run. This is the easiest telltale sign that somebody probably doesn't know what they're talking about, and they're probably misleading you. Now, I want to be clear about this. They're probably not doing it intentionally, right? I hope so. Oh my God. I hope they're not misleading you intentionally on purpose. I hope not. Because some people are just money grabbers and then they want to just rob you. And there's thanks to the internet, there's a lot of ways to rob you now virtually. But hopefully that this person just didn't know what they were doing. They didn't know no better. They never revealed who they learned the information from. How did you come into this information? Where did you read this? Where did you do research? Who did you learn from? Whose feet did you sit at? Hopefully they're not lying to you or doing it intentionally. They're not misleading you on purpose. And they just made a mistake and then they just themselves, circumstances change and then they just have to, But if that's the case, say it. If that's the case, do you not think you owe something to the thousands of people who followed you or paid for your products, and now all of a sudden you're just gone? What's up with that? So if that's the case, then here's what you do. Don't leave your dreams. If your dream was to own a notary business, now it's time for you to make the switch. Go about it the right way. Go about it the strong way, the smart way, the boring way. Sorry to say, yeah, it is boring. It is a little bit boring. It is slow, and sometimes it is methodical, and it does require you to put in some work that you probably otherwise wouldn't have done. It does require you to think outside the box, grow your skills in terms of sales. You didn't think that sales was important, but Tiger just explained to you why. It is important. You could have bypassed that entire whole thing about you buying all these cars and printers and all this paper and stuff, but validating whether or not you actually even enjoy this. So now you find yourself with a damn safety vest on, doing permit inspections and going under people's houses and taking pictures at 12 o'clock at night for $10, or being a remote online notary doing 200 signings for $20. When you can name your own price, you can call your own shot, you write your own ticket. That's why you started this business, isn't it? Is that not the reason why? So listen, man, this is just part one. We're gonna hit you later with part two. And we're not naming names because that's what I know. People want us to name names, people want us to call people out. We ain't calling nobody out. Yeah, you know who you are. We talking to you. You know who you are. We don't have to name names, but we want to say, if your intention was to run, I love that logo too, by the way. If your intention was to run a notary business, then here's your opportunity to do the things that really create movement, generate the lead, secure the payment, outsource the job. 3 steps. You don't even need to get a notary commission for that. Can you answer the phone? Can you say hello? Can you say thank you for calling ABC Notary? How can I help you? What type of document do you have? What type of ID do you have? What city do you live in? Yeah. Tell me about the appointment. You're in the hospital. Your uncle is have dementia and needs a power of attorney. And you want to know how much I charge? Well, today is $267.38. You need it in the next 30 minutes. You need it tonight at 6 o'clock. Then we can probably save you some money. You can save like $50. You do it for $198. You need to send copies back to the attorneys. Well, we can help facilitate that as well. We have a partnership with FedEx, and we can ensure that we can send you email confirmations to you and your attorney and to your rest of the family members. So there's a way that you could do this business successfully and not have to rely on some AmRock or SnapDocs or some other company to send you $45 appointments an hour and a half away. Crazy, man. You think I'm done? I'm not done. I might even go deeper after we go.
Well, save some of that smoke for part 2, bro.
Right.
Until then, ladies and gentlemen, peace, love, happiness, and money to you guys. We will talk to you guys soon. You heard?
Out.